before him, and they had nothing to eat. Jesus called his disciples and told them. Now you can look this up in Matthew 15:32 through 39 also. That's cross-reference. This is one of the synoptics, of course. I feel compassion for the crowd. They've been with him now for 3 days and have nothing left to eat. They had food. They brought food with them, but they run out. They've been on a 3-day camping trip, traveling trip. If I send them away to their homes and hungry, they will faint from exhaustion on the road, because some of them have come a long way. His disciples replied to him, where will we be able to find enough bread here in this isolated place to feed these people? Now the word bread there, actually, it means, we're going to get to that, but it means food. Period. Food. He said, ask them, how many loaves of bread do you have? And they said 7. So he directed the people to sit down on the ground, and taking the 7 loaves, he gave thanks and broke them, and repeatedly gave them to his disciples to set before them, and they served the crowd. And they also had a few small fish, and when Jesus had blessed them and given thanks, he ordered that these fish be set before them as well. And the people ate and were satisfied. They were actually stuffed, and they picked up 7 large baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. And about 4,000 men were there, besides women and children. And he sent them away. And immediately he got into the boat and with his disciples and went to the district of down Mantua. We'll stop on verse 9. Right there at verse 9, we'll read up to verse number 9. Now let's go back and see what it says in the Greek, and what's there and what isn't there, and what much more is there that we don't know yet. Enekines teis hemeros, Paulin polu oklu, Pontos kai me akonton, te pagusen, pros ka lisa menos. Tous mathetes legay autois. Now let's look at this. We'll learn a lot of things from this. In these days, or during these days, in Canis, and there is preposition on page 137, and it's just exactly, our English "in" comes from the Greek "in." It's a preposition. In these days, the days, back again, that little adverb there, back again, much crowd. This word, much crowd, oklu, that's oklu, so this is singular now, singular. Now we look at the word oklu, how many people, when you look at the word oklu, how many numbers are there, how many people? 5 to 10,000 people. From that number right there, that little name right there, oklu, or oklos is where it comes from. It's oklu here, genitive singular masculine, the second declension word, by the way. Much crowd, and we're going to find out, he's going to specify how many it is in just a little while. Ontos being, that's present participle active, genitive singular. The crowd is singular. If it's plural, it's 10 to 15, 20,000 people. Ontos being, and not having, chi there, but you can put down there the chi here. It can translate it other than and, so it could be a what we call a diversive conjunction with but not, a little particle of negation, page 268 in your analytical Greek lexicon. Not having, ekonton, genitive, plural, masculine, present participle active, and that comes from echo, doesn't it? Not having anything, t, that's like a little interrogative pronominal adjective. Anything, phagusen. Phagusen actually comes from estio. Third person plural, second aorist subjunctive active. Anything that they might eat. Anything that they might eat. They have nothing that they might eat. Their food supply is gone now. Can you imagine children going without food sometimes a day or so? I did, but it's not easy. Your stomach hurts. And then proskalesomenos. Proskalesomenos. That's a long word. Having called, that is a nominative, singular, masculine, first aorist, participle, middle voice. Middle voice means that he did it for his own self. He said, having called the disciples of mathetes, tous mathetes there, that's accusative plural masculine. And mathetes is what? Habitual learners. These people followed him all the time. These were the what we call the in crowd, the ones that followed him closely, the disciples. And he says, third person singular, present, indicative, active, to them, dative, plural, masculine, third person pronoun, to all of them. Splog, nizomai, epi, ton, oklon. Hote ede, hemera tres. Prosalmenosen, moi, kai, uk, ukusen, te, fagusen. Now this word splognosis, this means when your guts twist. He said, my guts are twisting. My guts are twisting. Because I have so much compassion that my guts are just twisted up. When you get up to speak sometimes, and this happened to me many, many times, it's not so much now in our little church here, but when I'm up before a great congregation or whatever, 1,000 people or whatever, or up in a meeting of some sort and I have to speak, my guts just twist up still. That's what you call butterflies. Butterflies. Still get butterflies. All right. This here is, I am moved with compassion, my guts are fluttering like I have butterflies. Present, first person singular, present, indicative, middle voice. Upon, that little preposition, page 153 and 54, upon the oklon. How many people are we talking about? This oklon? 5 to 10,000 people. And we're going to see it explained pretty soon, this oklon. Because, the little hoti there in conjunction, a day, already a little adverb of time. Days, 3. Days, hamere, tres, 3. 3 days, they follow me. They follow me. Third person singular, present, indicative, active. They followed him and they keep on following him. They've been following him for 3 days and they're still doing it. Why are they following him? They want to hear every word, every drop of word and wisdom that comes out of his mouth. They follow me, moi, and then we have the word kai again, and kai can be a conjunctive or a, what we call an adversative, but is what it would be, and this word here probably would be translated better, but, and you look that up on page 208. But, not. Adverb negation, but, not. They have anything, T, that little interrogative, indefinite, interrogative, pronominal adjective. They might eat. Third person plural, second aorist, subjunctive, active, that they might eat. They don't have anything that they might eat. Not a thing. Verse number 3 now. Kai eon apostoluso. Apoluso. Not Appaloosa, but Appaloosa. Okay. Altus, nes tes, eis oikon, auton, ek li the sontai, ente hodo, kai tenes, auto, apo, macrothen. And here we have the word kai again, and here it probably you could probably translate it but also. Look it up on 208. But if, third class conditional particle, the condition determined as unfulfilled but with prospect of determination. But if I apoluso, if I loose them away, if I dismiss them, first person singular, future, indicative, active, if I shall dismiss them, fasting, nastios, not eating, that's accusative plural masculine, fasting, fasting ones, literally, because we got a predicate, a predicate, but a practical substantive there. You have to add ones that are fasting. Unto the house. Preposition again, ace, extension or limitation of thought or verbal action, unto their house, but they may have to go like this to get there all over the place. Unto their house, unto their homes. Accusative singular, masculine. Of them, genitive, plural, masculine, third person pronoun, that outtone there. They shall be very exhausted, weak, famished, despondent, faint. All in that word, eklethaisontai. Eklethaisontai. Third person plural, future, indicative, passive. They will be caused to be famished or weak, fainting. It means to fall apart, to loosen up. You just dissolve. In the way, or in the highway. And some, now there's the word and there, it's 208, that's conjunction. And some of them, from much far, they are. They are from Macrothen. Macrothen, long way off. That word apo there, from a long way off. Verse number 4. Kai apekri theson auto hoi mathete auto hote pothen tutos dinesete tis hode cor tise arton epi himeri eremias. And there we have a conjunction, and it's tying two sentences together there. And they caught up in speech with him, apikritheson, third person plural, first aorist indicative, passive. They were caused to catch up in speech with him or answer him, to him, dative, singular, masculine, third person pronoun. That out too there. I might say this while I'm right here. You know, God came into my life. I had hurt my back in the oil fields. My back was pretty much destroyed. I was I was paralyzed. I would be paralyzed off and on, or I couldn't walk at all. But I had a lot of time on my hands, and the Lord was dealing with me, and I just asked Him into my heart and said, Lord, here I am. Whatever you want me to do, have me do it. I've been saved in 1960 when my grandmother was killed. And I just wandered around through life, but now God has got my attention. Two things happened to me. I was in an accident, a horrible accident. First of all, I got my back run out in the oil fields. I had bought a service station. I had to give up the service station because it couldn't work, even though I was doing fantastic and doing fantastic business. But I was not physically able to do it. And so I had an operation on my back. I was down and out, crawling around sometimes. I couldn't even stand up. And I went in there and had the operation, and they gave me a 50% chance of living because they had to fuse my whole lower back, and I was in surgery for 9 hours. And they didn't know where I could make it through the surgery. I was young, 21 years old. And I was flat on my back. I got back then you didn't have cassettes yet, no cassettes. So I got a lot of reel-to-reel tapes of different preachers that I could listen to, and I studied those tapes right and left, day and night, sometimes 24 hours without ever stopping. I was just in love with God's Word. I just couldn't get enough of it. If I'd only had discovertheword.com in my back pocket, I tell you what, it would have been something else. I don't know what I could say, how happy I would have done, but it wasn't possible back then. You listen to the radio, and half the people out there were heretics. You can go to discovertheword.com or discovertheword with Dr. Jim, YouTube, or sermonaudio.com/DTW, and you're going to get sound teaching. It's going to be sound. It's going to be different. It's going to be orthodox. But how much I would have given for that. Oh, I tell you, I moved up here to Nevada, and I watched Gene Scott, and I like Gene Scott. And on his C1, I think it was, satellite, you know, when they set up the satellites up here back then, big old 12, 15, 16-foot satellites, they pointed right at his station because it was so strong. And so I got to listening to him. And he was okay in some areas, but not in a lot of areas. And I just sat and I prayed. I said, Lord, how wonderful it'd be if somehow the truth could get out like that. Just all truth. Well, now it is. It's out there. I've tried to do a lot of them on video. Now you're getting it in your home, wherever you are in this world. You don't have to put up a big satellite dish. All you have to do is have an internet connection. And you got it. Boy, what I would have given for this. I could learn Greek, I could learn Hebrew, I could learn systematic theology, Bible in 8 ages. I could learn all the parables in the Bible, kingdom studies, study every book in the New Testament from Greek and Hebrew and the Old Testament. Wow, that's thrilling to me. That's absolutely thrilling. And I've got students out there today that listen to 40, 50, 60 hours of recordings a week. They've told me that. Hallelujah. Bless the Lord. It's just wonderful. When I'm reading this and doing what I'm doing, sometimes I just go back to that and I said, Lord, you are allowing this to be done. How much I would have given for this. But I went to the seminary for 12 years, and I'm not disappointed I did that, but you can go to the seminary in your home and take it with you. Some of my seminary classes are there from my seminary teachers that I sat under, and I was almost assistant teacher underneath all of them. I was their substitute. Well, here it is. Let's go on. It's just exciting to be able to do this. And the disciples belonging to him, the mathetes, the habitual learners, because from where? Pothen. Anyone here? These ones. Tutos is accusative plural masculine demonstrative pronoun. These ones, third person demonstrative pronoun. He will be able to. Any here to be stuffed. Kortase. Now he took these loaves and multiplied them. Jesus said, I am the bread of life, I'm the water of life. I'm the bread of life, I'm the water that followed you. I am the well, I am the rock that followed you in the wilderness. Children of Israel, I'm the rock that followed you in the wilderness. I am the bread of life, I am the manna that came down to heaven. I am the genuine manna. They said manna means manna. It comes from the Hebrew word ma, which means what? What is it? You know what it is. Now here I am. This is where the manna came from. And these, he will be able, anyone here, to be stuffed, to be filled with loaves. And this leads really, this artone there means to, what it actually means is to mix. Genitive plural masculine. Loaves, food. It can mean bread also. Artos is what it comes from. From the, out here in the desert. out here in the wilderness. Maryland, the first time I ever brought you to Fish Lake Valley. We came down over Montgomery Pass and we drove and turned on Highway 264 and we got up here and looked out in this and she said, what did you remember what you said? This is no man's land. This is no man's land. She's mad. Outlaws and people come up in this kind of country. Outlaws come up here in this kind of country to hide out. Well, it's a wilderness. You got to have your act together up here, huh?
Yeah.
You got to have your act together up here. There is no McDonald's on the corner. The closest McDonald's from here is 75 miles. The closest Burger King is 61 miles. The closest doctor is 61 miles or 75 miles. The closest Taco Bell is 75 miles. They have a little grocery store here and things, but it's not much. Got a gas station here. Got a post office. Got a hardware store, and that's about it. Wilderness. These people were out in the wilderness. There's no catering trucks out there. There is no grocery stores out there. By the way, they didn't have a grocery store like we got anyway. They had farmers markets, and there's no farmers market out there. They're out there in the wilderness and at Ramu. Ramios. Verse number 5. Kai erota autus posus ekete artus hoi de epon hepte. And he kept on interrogating them. Third person singular perfect indicative active from erotao, erota, and he kept on interrogating them. How? Posus, accusative plural masculine, that's an interrogative. How ye may have breads, food. And that word bread means to mix, a mixture of things. When you make bread, you have, at the very least, you've got flour and you've got water, 2 ingredients. But most of the time you'll put oil in that, you'll put salt in that, etc. How are we going to get anything bread to eat? How are we going to get any food to eat? Well, the one said to him, we have 7 loaves of bread, heptah. 7 loaves of bread. Now, heptah there, you have to interpret it means 7 loaves of bread. Verse number 6 now. Kai parangale to oklo, ana pason, epi tes gays, kai labon, tus, hepta artus, eucharistesos, ekleson, kai, edidu, tois mathetes. Autu, hina, parathetheson, kai, parathekon, to oklo. Now there's certain words in Greek that when it talks about like an oklos or a crowd, you know how many is in that crowd. A crowd is so many people. And they said, for he orders, and he orders to the crowd. That word paragale, it comes from para and angale. We have a message. He beside orders. Para is beside, and then he orders them to the crowd. Ana pason. That word means to lay up. It's second aorist infinitive active, to lay up. Ana and pipto are literally to fall down or to fall up. To fall up. What they're going to do is they're going to take these people and militarily put them in groups, and their heads are going to be one direction. I want you to fall up. I want all your heads in one direction. Now, these people didn't sit down to eat. They laid up to eat. That's different than we do today. We sat down on a chair and tables and everything. They laid up to a pallet or something, and they ate like this. They laid on one side and ate with the other side. Now, I don't know if I could swallow like that or not. That didn't seem, but we've changed a lot. Culture has changed a lot since then. and to lay up upon the land, epites ges, upon the earth. And having taken, the nominative singular masculine second aorist participle active, having taken the 7 loaves, the 7 breads, eucharistesos, and having blessed, nominative singular neuter, first aorist participle, and having blessed, active voice too, he broke. He broke. Ek leisen. It means to break apart. It means to from loose. It comes from ek and leo. To from loose. And he did this one time for each loaf. He just kept doing this one time for each loaf. And when he'd take it apart, there would be 2, and there were 2 the same size as what they started or bigger. And he kept on giving, third person singular, imperfect, indicative, active from didymi, that idudu, to the tois mathetes. He kept on taking the broken pieces of bread and giving them to his disciples, his inner circle, belonging to him. The inner circle belonged to him out too. Genitive, singular, masculine, third person pronoun. In order that, hina, they might serve. Para tithemi, and it comes from para and tithemi, and it means that they might give beside, to give beside, and they served to the oklo, to oklu. How many is in this group, Marilyn?
5,000.
5,000 to 10,000 people. We're going to find out that's exactly how much an oklu is, or an oklos. It's oklu here because it's dative singular masculine. Number 7 now. Kai, ikon, ik, thidia, olika, kai, eula goses, alta there actually is in brackets. It's not in the older manuscripts, but it's understood there, but it's not there. A pain kai tauta paratithene. And fish, they continued to have fish. Third person plural, imperfect, indicative, active. They kept on having fish. Ichthydia, fish. Oliga, a few, small in number. It comes from oligos, this oliga, accusative plural neuter. And, conjunction kai, having blessed. Again, nominative singular masculine, first aorist participle active, having blessed them, or having blessed. Now, the word is alta there, but that's in brackets. But you have a practical substantive here. You're having blessed what? And it's them. The practical substantive is them. And so they later on added alta, but you don't have to do that. In Greek, it's understood. And also he said these to serve. Take these fish and you serve them. Present infinitive active. You just keep on serving them. You just keep on taking these and placing beside them is what it means. Take on taking this and placing it beside them. Verse number 8. Kai iphagon, kai ekoratis thesan, kai eron, perisu mata, klasmaton, hepta, spiridas. And they ate. Third person plural, second aorist, indicative active. They ate. They ate, and third person plural, first aorist, indicative passive. They were stuffed. Have you ever eaten so much that your stomach hurt? You were uncomfortable? These people were out there hungry. I'm going to tell you something. They say don't ever go to the grocery store hungry. Eat before you go to the grocery store. Because you'll buy more in the grocery store than you need because you're hungry. Now, when you haven't eaten for 2 or 3 days, like some of these people had, or very meager meals 2 or 3 days, these people are hungry and they're going to eat. They've got food here and they got an abundance of food and they're going to eat it until their bellies are sticking out. And they're going, They were stuffed. They were stuffed, and they took excess periusumata, above and greater above. They didn't have any food to begin with, but now they got food, and they got a whole lot more food than what they can eat, and they have stuffed themselves. They are uncomfortable. They are going, ooh, oh, oh. That's what that word means. Fragments, 7 baskets full. 7 hampers full. Big baskets full. They had 7 baskets full. They were stuffed. They couldn't eat another morsel, and they got 7 baskets full left over. And 8 and 9, ason de hos, tetra ki lioi, kai apelisin autos. And there were about 4,000 men, because that is plural. There were about 4,000 men, plural 4,000. And he dismissed them. Now there's 4,000 men here, plus women and children. Now, when it says plus women and children, that is also an idea of a practical substantive. So there's 4,000 men here, but there's little children also. Little children and women. A man will be here, and then he'll have at least 1 child with him, and he'll have his wife with him, and maybe 3 children with him or whatever. So how many people are there? There's 4,000. Okay, 8,000 wife, at least 10,000. So now, oklos means 4,000 to 10,000 people. That's what it means. I hope you enjoyed this little message. If you're out there wanting to study God's Word, you got it. You've got it. You've got it. You've got it right there in your hands. If you want any of these books, by the way, like the Gospel according to Mark, you email me, and I will follow you back with a link so you can download any book in the New Testament, including the Gospel of Mark. You can get Matthew through Revelation also. Revelation was my doctor's thesis. One of them, anyway. And you can study along with me as you look at it. You'll have to download it in your computer and then print it out or whatever you want to do. God bless you. Our Father, we send this message out wherever it goes throughout the world. Please use it for your honor and glory. Please forgive me where I fail you. In Jesus'